Good morning, everybody. I toast to you and all you do. Hope you're having a great morning. It's still a little chilly. I had to go put my house coat on. It's kind of cold here. Anyways, on a serious note, and to start off the video, I think that it's really, really important to address the travesty that happened yesterday on both sides of the problem in this country right now. And not just in this country, but all over the world. But obviously, as an American, I can only speak for Americans. The justice system failed yesterday. What happened to Breonna Taylor was wrong, and it should have never gone down like that. And the reality is if that was in a white neighborhood, it wouldn't have gone down like that. And for the only charges to arise to be an endangering the neighbors are pretty ridiculous. There's so much that could be said about this situation because nothing is right about it. There's no right angle. There's nothing in this place that was right. You know, it was not right for her to be in a house with a criminal. It was not right for that criminal to open fire on the police. It was not right for the police to come into the house the way that they did. It was not right for them to open fire, as the police officer's job is to detain and to stop violence, not to encourage violence. And all that they did in this situation was encourage violence. And for nothing to happen is despicable. And I have seen both sides of police racism, and it's a sad, sad situation. My family is white, obviously, and not all of them are law-abiding citizens. And I've been in many situations where I have seen my family get away with the things that they should not have gotten away with because we're white. And I see my Latin neighbors and my, not get away with the things that, and it's despicable. It's disgusting. And I can remember the last encounter I had as I'm sitting there watching it go down. All I could think the whole time was like, geez, if this was my neighbors, that, everybody would be laying in the street, face down in the dirt, their hands under, and cuffed, while the police figured out what was going on. Instead, there's 8 police officers, an EMT, and my family members all standing outside hanging out, discussing where there may or may not be a gun. And this isn't the first time it's happened. So there is a serious injustice. There's a serious line between races, and it's wrong. 100% wrong. And a police officer's job is to protect and serve, not to cause more violence, not to do more harm, and definitely not to take out their pissed off aggressions on the people that they're dealing with. It's a stressful job, and I honor our police officers. It's a job that I could never do because I don't have the strength to do that job. It takes a very strong person to be able to get up every day and go out and do what they do. Just like our teachers, just like our nurses, just like all of the other people who get up and serve our community. And I think that that's something that we have forgotten in these modern times. In recent years, I don't even know, but I've seen the transition happen to where we no longer honor the people who serve our community, and the people who serve our community no longer feel that honor and that respect, and so they cannot provide the services in which they really wanted to do from the beginning. People don't become police officers because they want to run around and beat up people. That's not why you do that. You become a police officer because you want to help people, because you want to do the right thing, because you want to stop the bad guy, because you want to be the hero. Those are reasons you become a police officer. And it is so sad that throughout their careers they get to this point where they are so angry and so upset that they have to take it out on the people around them, that they are so stressed out and at the end of their rope that they cannot effectively do their job. And this is because we no longer honor that position. And it's become this nasty, vicious spiral of just getting worse because nobody said, hey, wait a minute. We need to make sure that we're providing better care for our police officers so our police officers can provide better care for our communities, period. And that should have happened a long time ago. when civil rights became a thing, which it's sad to say that that had to become a thing, but when it became a thing and people were like, wait a minute, we as civilians have rights, no matter who we are or where we are or what dollar we have in our bank account or what color our skin is or what our religion is, we have the right to be here, we have the right to stand up, and we have the right to just be who we are because that's who we are. And, it does, race, religion, sexual orientation, life choices. I mean, now we even have transracial people, which if my dad wasn't one, it would be like, to put words on it was like mind blowing, okay? People are different. Everybody is unique. Each person on this earth is different and beautiful, and we should all be honored as such. And so when we finally stood up and we're like, hey, we should be honored as beautiful individuals that we are no matter what, because everybody brings value to the table. We should also at that moment been like, okay, we're going to make this change, and a change has to start with our government officials, our police officers, our hospitals, and our teachers. And our teachers and our hospitals and the government slowly. Okay, classrooms started to change. Slowly, we've seen changes. And yeah, there are still discrepancies, major discrepancies. And the place where we see the most discrepancies still, though, is in our police offices, police stations, our policing force. And it's sad. That should have been the first place. It should have been teachers, police officers, and hospital staff, all of those people of service. That should have been changed. Everybody gets equal care. There is no whatever. There's no difference. And it's sad. I saw this article, which really was true, and it said that, minorities had it better when there was segregation, because at least in their own communities they could rise up and do right by their communities and have successful people in their communities. There were more black doctors, there were more Latin doctors, because they were there, they were needed to serve their community, so they stood up and they took care of themselves. And that shouldn't have gone away. That should have been blessed and encouraged, and yes, let's bring these great people into the mainstream, let's do this right by everybody. And it's sad now, 50 years later, that still in our justice system, this is such a yucky situation, and to where there are these lines, and it's okay because they were police officers, or it's not okay because they were whatever. No. There's nothing right about this situation. There's nothing right about a police officer using his place of authority to hurt other people. There's nothing right about a doctor using his place of authority to hurt other people. Teachers, psychiatrists, therapists, president, I don't care who you are. This needs to be a social norm that we are reaffirming right now. That if you are in a place of power, it is your job to put your position above yourself and do right by the people that you serve, period. As a clergy, I, feel very, very dedicated to my community, and recently having to stop working with the organization that I was working with was devastating for me emotionally, because I felt like I was losing so much. And now I have to rebuild that. And the loss wasn't in what people were giving to me, but it was in my ability to reach other people. And that really hurt. That was really upsetting. It's still really upsetting. And because I feel like I'm not doing what I need to be doing for my community. And now, as the times are getting more, and we're seeing this line of division happening more and more, and I'm so sad to see people so far on either side, because all that does is breed more hate, and we don't need more hate. Instead of trying to point fingers and push away and say, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, why don't we reach our hand out and try to open some lines of communication? And yeah, it sucks. There are going to be people that you can't bring back from racism. They are just that messed up in their brain, that they are that filled with hate, that whatever is their problem, they can't come back. But I have also heard stories and met people who they were in the KKK, and they were in hate everything. They went to prison. It was their life. They were consumed by this. And then one day they just like an addict, had their moment. And they were like, I can't do this. No, I can't do this. And they just decide that they're going to let that go, and they're going to move forward. And, they have to live every day with that swastika on their neck and look at that and explain to every person that they meet that, yes, this used to be me, and I wear this because tattoos are permanent, and this is the life choices that I made, and now I have to do right and make better. And so it is possible for people to make these changes, but it's definitely not going to happen because you talk mean to them or because you push them back into a corner and make them feel like they're being threatened. I think that more and more and more we need to just completely facilitate the social norm that racism is wrong. And, from now on, when you fill out your paperwork and it says, what race are you? We're American. I don't know about you, but my family's been in this country long enough that I don't know who came to America. And I know that's not true for everybody. It's the beautiful thing about America that there are people who are first generation born here. And for you, yes, check the box that says whatever country you came from, American, because that's amazing, and that's a beautiful thing about America. But for those of us who have been in this country for so long, I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. Those of us who have been in this country for so many generations that you don't know where you came from, and then you don't know what languages they speak, and you definitely don't speak those languages, and you don't know very much about the culture, and you're surprised when you get your genealogy back because it says you're from somewhere totally different. You know why? Because we're American. We've been in this country for 300 years at least. Many of us more. Just check the box that says American. Let's tell the government that we don't want to be divided, and we don't want to be segregated, and we don't want to be made into these different things. We're all American. It was mind-blowing to me when I was doing, research on the appropriate way to refer to different cultures. And I was like, okay, well, how do they do it, like in Great Britain or in other countries, or how do they refer to people of other whatever? It's not like here in America where everybody's an African American or a whatever, a Latin American or a British American or a whatever. They're just British. And I'm sorry, that makes sense. You live in this country, you pay taxes to this country. Even the people who have come here and gained their citizenship, they want to be American. So let's just be American. Let's stop checking white, African, not Hispanic, not white at all. Like, come on. It's gotten ridiculous. Let's all just check the American box. Let's all treat people with respect. Let's all have equal standards that all people should be valued, no matter where or who they are. And that if you are so consumed with hate, then maybe you should leave and go somewhere else. Like, I know there are places in South Africa or other places around the world that literally are that filled with hate that they don't let in people of color. So you know what? That's fine. If you're filled with that much hate, go live in those places, because we don't want you here. And I'm sorry. I know that's a strong statement, but that's the truth. And I am so disappointed in what happened yesterday on both sides of the line. It sucks that those people had to die. It sucks that Brianna had to die. It is such a disgusting, yucky, horrible situation. And I know that sucks doesn't seem like the right word, but I can't use foul language. I got to keep it clean. And that's as good as we can get. And it just is a horrible situation, and it's sad. And I'm so disappointed. I'm disappointed in all of the people that were involved. I'm disappointed in those police officers. I'm disappointed in the justice system. I'm disappointed in the protesters who felt like they needed to go out and retaliate by killing more people. How does that help anything? What are you helping? Those people had their own families and their own lives, and now all you're doing is fueling the rage for these people. So what you're doing is proving to them that they're right. And that's wrong. It's all wrong. All of it is wrong. And it's sad. And I really feel like it's time for a change. And the only way that things are going to change is if we stand up and make that change. So you have to do what's right. You have to do what's right every day. You have to do what's right. When you see somebody being harassed on the street, you stop it. When you see somebody being racist, you call them out and be like, wow, that's pretty racist. Just say it. I'm walking through the parking lot at Walmart about a month ago, and this lady in her white privilege is pulling out of her parking spot, and she had already started moving, so everybody else had to wait, no matter if they're me and my kids waiting, because pedestrians have the right of way in a parking lot. The couple who was pulling down in their truck, they're like looking for parking. This lady was like, this is my turn, I'm coming out. Even though it really wasn't. She didn't have the right of way, there's nothing about it. And she wants to give all of us a dirty look because we're all standing there waiting for her. And yeah, I called her out on it. I told her, your white privilege is showing. Very clearly. That was all white privilege. And it was funny because all of the people who had to wait for her, we were also white. And all of them took a minute to think. They were like, oh, wait. Because, that's a universal behavior and it's messed up and you just need to let go of it. And just do the right thing. Like, let's not... I know this is from the Bible and people think I'm silly because I'm pagan and I'm constantly quoting the Bible, but it's the most influential piece of literature in the last 2,000 years, and I think it's important that everybody should have read this piece of literature because it has influenced 2,000 years of our society. That's a long time. So you should know where all of this is coming from and be able to come back at people when they're like, well, Jesus said, and yeah, you know what else Jesus said? Jesus said, an eye for an eye and the whole world will be blind. Is that really what we want? Are we trying to create more blind rage by retaliating on both sides? So, because that's all it's going to do. The police did the wrong thing, and then we retaliate, and now the police are more pissed off. They're going to retaliate back, and more people are going to get hurt, and then it's just going to, seriously, it has to stop. We all have to do the right thing, and there needs to be reform in our politics, there needs to be reform in our policies, and there needs to be reform in our communities, because that's the only way that this is going to work. And this isn't about defunding the police. I like refund the police, like rearrange their funding so that they are getting paid what they need to be getting paid. They're getting time off, they're getting counseling, they're getting therapy, they're getting training, they're getting all of these things that they need to do. I like the quotes that are coming out right now about how nurses have to every 2 years take counseling and have to take classes and have to do all of these things to maintain their credentials. And why don't police officers have to do that? Why isn't this universe, different states have different rules? Why? This should be unanimous across the board. We hold our police officers to these high standards so that they can protect and serve. We also provide them with these high quality services so that they feel supported. It's not just about police officers. That's what the big thing is right now. But this is about supporting the people who provide services for us. And for the people who are providing these services, doing the right thing by their community and serving their community. Because that's what this is. That's what it is. So I know that this was not on topic, and I'm sorry, I could probably keep going on. I realized, let's see how long I had, 20 minutes, yeah, so change starts with each person, and each person doing the right thing. And I think that unanimously, across the board, we as a global society, not just Americans, but as a global society can agree on a few things. And I don't think that these are far-fetching, okay? I think that we can all agree that racism is wrong, okay? Period. In the story. No more discussions. I think that we can all agree that we need to treat each other with respect. I think that there are universal laws that can take into effect. Rape is wrong. Murder is wrong. violence against other people is wrong. There's no reason that you need to be violent against other people. Like, we teach our children to keep their hands to themselves. Like, why as a grown-up does this seem to like evade people? And honestly, if we lived a life by those standards, I'm just saying, think about it. Think about how easy it would be. It's so easy to have respect and be kind and courteous to other people. That's easy. That doesn't take a lot of energy. It takes a lot of energy to hate and to segregate and to spew nastiness. So really, what side do you want to be on? And I don't care if you're on the super liberal. I'm so mad at so many liberals right now because they're like so extreme. They're just as extreme as the Nazis on the other side, and I feel like we could put them in a boat together and they'd be like, you know what, actually we do get along. Because they're that extreme. What is that serving you? All you're doing is fueling the fire and breeding more hate. So you know what? I challenge everybody to be a better person today and to do something better, to do something right by other people. Please. Treat people with respect. Treat people the way that you would want to be treated. It's that easy. I don't think anybody wants to have somebody be rude to them. Okay, I'm going to stop now because this is definitely the ramblings of a phoenix and how messed up our society is right now. And the only way it's going to get better is if we do the right thing. So I challenge you to do the right thing. And I toast to you and to all of the people who are out there fighting, doing the right thing. Please keep doing what you're doing, and I send my love and support to you because there are people out there doing the right thing. So let's just do that, okay? Cheers.